Peace everyone. Let me get everything together. I'm gonna drop the link. We're gonna get the show started. Welcome to the Late Show. I'm your host, Uprising. And soon we're gonna be having Raul coming up tonight. It's gonna be an electrifying show. Everybody hit that like button, hit that share button. If you wanna hop on the panel, make sure you hit that link once I send out the invite. All right, everyone, welcome to the Late Show. Welcome to the Late Show. Let's get this intro going. Cause you know, I always gotta do my intros to start the show off properly. To the people that's coming in from the other show, welcome to Knowledge Uprising. And if this is your first time, welcome to Knowledge Uprising. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get them intros out the way.
Could I trust shit? I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes. Niggas was talking what they was gonna do to a nigga when I saw them niggas froze. Boy, I had dreams of a Chevy, but now I see me in the Rolls. Folks to knock, I'm the fucking greatest. Bitch, I made it, that's all my haters. Who could I trust shit? I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes. Niggas was talking what they was gonna do to a nigga when I saw them niggas froze. Boy, I had dreams of a Chevy, but now I see me in the Rolls. Folks to knock, I'm the fucking greatest. Bitch, I made it, that's all my haters. I counted on you and you flaked on me. I told you I love you, you hated on me. I was just grinding into the money, laughing at niggas, you niggas funny. But play no games with me, know I bang, nigga. Yeah, I changed, but the same nigga, and I'm still rocking with my A1s. All black, 5th Akon. Tank top, yeah, I bear arms. Grizzly with it, I'm in bare form. Born and raised in the Cub City. Self-made like Frank Nitty, untouchable. Now that's Al Capone, I gotta keep it on me, that's my ride along. Flow colder than the Ice Cube. I'm a young nigga with an attitude. Bad bitch, hair silky smooth. Remy weed, she like it pulled too. And I chuck the deuces when I pull through. Chain hanging off the neck like a noose. Dropping bombs on them, nigga, this a new. You a dick riding, I don't follow suits. I got different ties. Never fold like a bow tie, huh? I'm talking 4 ties, how I ride. I don't spare guys. Damn, they thought it was a mannequin challenge. These niggas froze when they saw I. Rolls Royce, I want it all gold on 24s and call that bitch Kobe. Rolex watch with no diamonds in it, that's perfect timing, I'm shining. Who could I trust? Shit, I don't know. Bitches be flaking, these niggas hoes. Niggas was talking what they was gonna do to a nigga when I saw them niggas froze. Boy, I had dreams of a Chevy, but now I see me in the roads. Folks to knock, I'm the fucking greatest. Bitch, I made it, that's all my haters. Who could I trust? Shit, I don't know. Bitches be flaking these niggas hoes.
Hey, our cook in a building. Everybody, welcome to the Late Show. I'm your host, Knowledge Uprising. I apologize if I sound so subtle. I've been trying to adjust my mic volume on this laptop, but unfortunately it's not working, so I hope you all can hear me properly. Shout out to motherfucking R Cook in the building. Shout out to R Cook. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to the HOTC stand up. Yo, I got the link right there posted at the top. So hit that link and come on in. The Late Show has started. What's going on with everybody on this lovely Monday? I hope everybody had a phenomenal day. And we're going to get this show lit, show started. And we're going to have a dialogue. And like I said, it's always an open subject matter we can bolivate on. And if you don't know what bolivate means, that means we can talk. We can talk about it. Whatever you want to talk about. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I see the chat was lit before the show even started. So let's hope that continues throughout the entirety of the show, And also, I like to engage with the chat too. So if you have questions, want to ask about something, want to talk about something, all you simply got to do is just type it in the chat. If it's a question, I'll pop it up. But again, shout out to R Cook, shout out to Raul, shout out to Lonnie. Who else in the building? Fools and Tools, shout out to you. You're a new one to the show. Mind's Eye, shout out to you. Domestic, what's up, Domestic? Okay, hope I got everybody. Hope I got everyone. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what's up. You already know. So, I guess if anybody want to hop on the panel, you're more than welcome to hop on. In Indianapolis, Indiana, where is everyone from? He's asking where everyone is from. Lonnie wants to know where everybody is from. Well, Lonnie, I am in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. Queen City, stand up. Everybody else, if you want to drop where you're from, don't hesitate. Just drop it in the chat. So, what do you want to talk about? What is the word? What is the word on the street? Again, I got the link. If you want the link, you simply just click on it at the top of the screen. Come on in and join the show. It's a small realm. It's always a small realm, man. Small channel, small realm, small world, But so I was just over on Raul, and we were on Raul channel. Atlanta, GA chilling, homie. Gwinnett County, stand up. Hey, my boy R Cook in the building. R Cook, man, you gotta come up here, man. You can't hang out in the chat, bro. You gotta actually come up here, man, and converse with your brother for a while, man. For real. It's good to see you. It's good to see you in the chat tonight. The illustrious R Cook, take it back to the old school, But yeah, so I'm fresh off coming from Raul's channel, and which everybody knows as Naga now. And we were over there having dialogue about a bunch of different subject matters, And he had an extensive stream. That thing was for like 7 hours. Now, I was not there the entirety of it. I probably came in like about 2-3 hours in. Then I came in and left and came back, So he was doing his thing. Well, see, you say, yep, illustrious 32, but I remember illustrious Cook. You feel me? R Cook? That's what I remember. If we go back to the way back 6 years ago, 5 years ago, when you used to come up on here, used to be illustrious Cook. You feel me? And it wasn't even your that image that you're displaying, it was before that image. You know what you had up there, the illustrious cook. That's what it used to be. It's just like Roll changed his name to Naga. I guess with time, everybody changes a little bit. Oh yeah, Mind's Eye is more than welcome. I know it's getting kind of late, but this is the type of thing I do. I host late shows, and people be doing things. People got shit going on right now, but like I said, if you want to join the show, you're more than welcome to come up, or I can just build off the chat and we can host a late show like that. But it's always good to have a dialogue, with like minds. I always love building, so that was one of my things I did when I came up here. I hosted panels, so that was my thing. But yeah, so before we left out, we were piggybacking about something I was talking about, and I was talking about reality and how it's analogous to black holes, and basically letting people understand the concept of my sentiments with that, All right, bro, get ready, bro, get ready. It's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a night. Sir Drop, where you at? Sir Drop was one of the main reasons I started going back doing this thing. Sir Drop, he was in the chat. He was like, "Knowledge, come out of retirement," And so, I've been trying to make time for these live streams, and I can see actually it's this is like my maybe fourth, fifth video going back live. So I appreciate the audience. I appreciate everybody coming in. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. It's muchly appreciated. And I also show the love, so if I see you subscribe and you got a channel and you doing things, I'll make sure I come over, check your channel out and subscribe to you also, and that's what it is. But yeah, we were talking about reality and black holes, and I was just sharing my ideas of what I thought it was, And it's basically saying, you can say it's the Matrix, it's the simulation, or people got different names for it, but at the end of the day, it's the same shit. It's the same shit. People just calling it different names, You inverse. There you go. Universe. You in the universe. You know what I'm saying? It's basically, we're trying to describe the reality we're living in, Because everything's come from you, because you're projecting out everything, right? But what's projecting you? What's projecting your reality? That's the question. And so, with things like that, I'm able to give my ideas and what I think, I like to think outside the box. And I'm open to people expressing their sentiments and opinions. I'm not going to be one-sided unless I just totally disagree with the whole concept together. So Lonnie, I see you going ham in the chat right now. Explain to me, because I see you doing a lot of play on words. So, if you don't mind, Lonnie going crazy in the chat right now. So Lonnie, what is the universe to you? The universe is us? That's what you're trying to express? Well, the universe is inside us if we're speaking about the realm of our body, But we're talking about the totality of the reality we're living in. And I understand your sentiment. Because if I say we're projecting reality, then the reality is coming outside of us, right? So just trying to understand it. Yeah, Lonnie be doing this thing, I just be trying to make sense of it, because sometimes I might not be able to understand the message he's trying to convey. That's why I always question. And Ro, that's one of the things I do. R Cook, what's been up with you though, R Cook? Don't get quiet in the chat now, man. What you been up to? The quantum computer. The brain is a quantum computer. The brain is one of the most complex computers to ever exist. You know, the brain is doing so much shit right now you couldn't even fathom. The brain got all type of electrical pulses going through right now, one part and another, uh, doing things, making me talk, perceive reality. Look at this computer screen. Uh oh. Look like we got the homie. Everybody, please welcome the illustrious cook to the channel. Uh, he's one of the founders that helped me create panels, and he was one of the ones that actually came in and engaged in multiple shows, multiple streams. This dude is a legend. He's an OG in the game when it comes to hopping on panels, as far as building in the conscious community, flat earth community, the beef sector, black sector, whatever you want to call it. Shout out to R Cook. What's up, brother? How you doing out there?
Man, knowledge. I appreciate that, bro.
I had to
Hey,
give
hold
you
up. I'm
a proper introduction.
yeah, I'm hearing a feedback. I'm gonna drop down and try and come back up.
Nah,
I'm gonna
man, you
drop
good.
right out and come right
I
back
don't
up
see
because I
I hear no
feel
feedback on your end. Okay.
it's bad with me. So I'm gonna try it again. Hold on.
All right. You know, we exist in every timeline as we are infinite. Okay, I see what you're saying, Lonnie. Now with things like that, we got to dive deep. Because people can say a lot of good things, but I would like the audience to make sense of it. Our Cook back in the building. Peace, Cook. How we sound now?
Yo, yeah, that's better. Well,
Okay, okay.
damn.
What's
Now I can. It might be this phone because I got a new device. Let me see. Let me try something real
like I
quick.
said, you good on my end, brother. If you can hear me, I can hear you. There's no feedback on my end.
Well, that'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I might hook it up to my earphones in a minute. But knowledge, what's been going on with you, bro?
Man, I ain't been making no noise. Staying out the way, man. Staying out the way. I
Yeah,
said, it's been about time to bring the late shows back. So I said, let's do it.
yeah.
But
Now,
where you been though, man? Cause you was going in for a minute, man. You picked up where I left off. I tell you, boy, you was going in. You
yeah, I,
you
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 know,
you was making noise, bro. You was making noise
yeah,
back
I,
there.
I, I made a little noise, but it's really been stuff I've been having going on personally. Like
Yeah.
my oldest daughter, we just got her a place about a month ago, so we've been
Nice.
trying to get that up. Then my youngest daughter, she just got engaged. So it's been a whole lot of running around with these children, man.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. Children are important.
Hmm.
That's the future. So got to make sure they straight.
Yeah, how your fam doing, man?
Everyone is doing phenomenal, man. I can't complain. My daughter's getting big. My son, he's tall. You know, my wife,
Yeah,
she's good. You know, my mom, she's blessed. You know, I'm a thankful brother. I can't I can't complain.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well,
But
I'm gonna
yeah,
tell
man.
you that I like that subject that you was talking about, reality, because what what that made me think about. I was having a conversation
Welcome to the
with a
show,
couple
Raul.
partners of
Salute,
mine.
salute. Go ahead, Cook. I'm gonna mute my mic.
Okay, yeah, I see Raul done came up. What up with you, Raul? Glad to see you in the building, man.
Oh man, so you remember me, huh? Now I feel a
Yeah, I
little,
remember you, man.
now I feel a little better,
It's like
man.
Nolly said, but we used to do this back in the day all night. I'm talking about 4, 5 hours. We used to be up doing this. Later than that, sometimes.
Boy, we used to go
Man,
in.
it's good
I'm
to
talking
see
about.
you, man. Cause
Hey,
it's
you
crazy
remember
out
when
there.
people used to be waiting for somebody to drop off?
You feel
That was
me?
back when
Man, we used to
StreamYard
have
what?
so many people on here, man. We used to have like 10, 12 people on here at a time, man.
Yeah, and it still wasn't enough because people used to be as soon as somebody drop off, somebody to jump on. Yeah, that used to
Hell
be
yeah.
the day.
Hey, I just wanna say, bro, shout out to you, bro, cause it's crazy. Me and Knowledge, I think on the last live or the one before that. Nah, it's definitely the last one, cause Drop was on here, and we was talking about you, man. We was asking, man, where you at? Where his brother at, man? But it's good to see you. You feel me? For
Yeah, it's
sure.
good to hear from you, Raul, for real. But hey, real quick, now, knowledge, what you said about
Demencio, welcome to the show.
um the
Y'all ain't
reality. I was chopping it up
What's that?
with some of my homies. Now I'm gonna tell you what I think. Take the religious bias out. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in, I got a strong religious base. But if I take that part out, because that's a belief, that's a faith. But when I take that part out, uh, where the hell did we really come from? Like, I think that one of the number one questions that scholars have been trying to answer is where did we come from? They tried to go to space. That wasn't to figure out what the moon was. That was to try to find out where the hell we was from. They've explored different parts of this planet, not to find no dinosaurs. They trying to find out where we come from. Because it's like it's a great mystery. Have we always been here? Now that's what I think. I think we always been here, just like trees always been here, grass always been here, dirt has always been here, water has always been here. You can't put no, you can't put no date on how long water been here. You could put a date on these dinosaurs. Well, they was here 15 million years ago. Okay, you could put a date on this, on some tigers. Well, they evolved and they've been here, 800,000 years. But you can't do that with water. You can't do that with dirt. You can't do it with air. It's elements on this planet that has always been here. I think that we have always been here too. That's the only way I can explain it. So when you talk about reality and what is it? Now I can just say, well, shit, it's everything I see. Well, if I say it's everything I see, then reality is just some sort of electrical impulses that's in my body. Cause that's all you that an
There,
electrical
there,
impulse is what causes your eyes to focus, what gives you vision.
there you go.
And just like your fingertips, the sensation that run up and down your spine is electrical. So if you define reality strictly by what you can see, what you can hear, what you can feel, what you can taste, that type of stuff, then reality is just an electrical impulse that your body is receiving and projecting out. But let go a little deeper. Then I want to pass because I want to pass the mic around.
So with that being said, then that means it's okay to say that it's a signal that causes perception, depending on a certain type of vibration, and we're all aligned into that vibration, and it causes us to perceive things because we're in that right spectrum. Shout out to shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Root Words. Root Words is in the chat.
I see
Everybody
you.
turning up tonight, man. Hey, Root
I
Words,
see
man.
you, Root Word. What up, Root?
Root, go ahead and come up to the show, bruh. Salute, salute. Okay, we got Lady Shea Butter in the building. Come on in. Come on, join the channel. Join the chat. Join the chat. Join the chat. But yeah, man. So I think like I said, I think it's light through projecting through electrons and photons and all that stuff that's making us able to perceive these things. And I can't stand my mic is so low. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yeah, we can you cloud and clear.
Oh, so it's just on the back end it's coming out like that. So but yeah, I was getting into black holes and how it's analogous to reality. Because if we look at flunk units, it shows these different distinctions of energy. And Planck unit consists of 4 Planck areas. Well, so if you look at it from that sense, and I was talking to Raul about this on the other show, and it's how everything is made up in small triangles of energy, and these energies are energies of entropy, you know, and it. I was talking about how if you look at a plate, right? If you look at or if you just look at some film, or matter of fact, let me make it even better. Look at some aluminum foil, right? So when you look at some aluminum foil, right, you can't see nothing in it, right? But think if just that thin sheet of aluminum foil had a whole reality within it, right? And all it takes to click into that reality, is to get absorbed. So when we look at that, right, we look at the area of no return on a black hole, how you get sucked into it, right? And you like to think your body gets burnt up and you die. Well, see, you don't die. My theory is you become bits of information. Now, once you're on that flat level sheet, right, and you become bits of information, right, you're no longer present to the reality that we're living in right now, which is the fourth dimension. We can't perceive it. So when you look at black holes, right, black holes suck in light, and light gives the black hole energy to do the things it does. So when light is absorbed to it, right, it heats up the area where the Planck units are at, and then the Planck units can project reality, right? But the reality being projected, you can't see outside of the black hole. So to you, it might just be a sheet of foil, but if you were actually to zoom down into the sheet of foil and actually see the energy, because like I said, once you get absorbed into a black hole, you become nothing but energy, right? You just bits of information. So once you become them bits of information, right, you're still there in the sheet, right? But you're in another reality. You can see outside the black hole. It's like looking up at the sky and you're seeing nothing but stars. So when the light hits it, it projects reality. And since it's a bunch of light around everywhere, right? That light is going to display reality, and it's going to cause this phenomenon which we are experiencing right now, right? So, and it's analogous with our heads too, how we are experiencing reality through our heads. So it's that's just like a little brief breakdown. But what's up, Don? Welcome to the show, bro. Welcome to the show.
GKU. Um, there is an echo. Hmm. I guess depends on what people perceive as reality. Like for me, reality is your waking state, your senses. So now,
Well, yeah, that's your sentiment. So
yeah, it's
we
always going
entitled
to be
to it.
it's always going to be from the eye of the beholder or the Plato's cave view on my point. So I guess the question a person can ask himself: do you see thoughts? Do you see prana, air? Your senses might pick it up, but do you see it? Now that's as part of your senses. So now when you're in the sleeping state, what is that language?
Yeah,
Like
well,
when we
see,
talk about
we know we don't perceive thoughts. They manifest through our mind. Like I said, I believe, and this is just my sentiment. Like we don't know where thoughts come from. They come to us and they come to our mind and they influence us. And like I said, thoughts influence us and it comes to our mind and it can either alter our judgment, alter our mood. It it makes us do things. It gives us emotion, empathy, and all them types of things. Thoughts. Thoughts make you agree with a certain thing or make you say, well, this is what I believe. Like, but we don't see that. And just like air, you can't see air, but we know we're breathing it. So I know we can't see them things, but
okay,
it's
so
there.
to break it down a little bit more, then there's things after thoughts, both spoken and written word. So now I'm speaking, so I'm using a language right now, and I'm going to describe something like a hand. But I'm aware that the word that I use and what I describe are two different things. You might receive another thought, and then you'll pick up a memory. This is where we talk about the blood. So now, when you're aware of that, now you have discernment. Now you're beyond knowledge. Now you're discerning that I don't see the things I describe. So I can say something is a sequoia tree that's in a forest. All of those words are experiences. As I'm saying it, there's energy behind that. This is where vibration and frequency comes. Most of us don't realize how deep that indoctrination goes. Now we're using an English language, which is a meaningful language. It's not like Sanskrit, a healing language, or Greek, or maybe Arabic and all that. They're all different kinds of frequencies to those language. This is beyond the 440 and 432 ideal. So now when you're playing with thoughts, you're using the word mind, but it's actually the brain. The mind, hence why we have many words with the word ment, mind, man. It's kind of like AI. It picks up everything, hence it's stored everywhere. We learn a language, but all languages already exist. Now we have to learn the craft, how to speak Arabic or whatever. And now there's also different other types of language like body language, braille, sign language. Those are all languages. But again, the waking state can only pick up so much. That's why it's called the language of consciousness. But for a lot of people, whether they use their intuitive, this is where the mind actually works through the midbrain, not the upper brain. The upper brain is where people are very scribe and scholarly like. Anyway, I went on a little bit. Sorry, go ahead, KU.
Oh, nah, do your thing, man. I see you. You had a lot you wanted to motivate, so go ahead, do your thing.
I like other people to, if they feel inspired, to share back. This is about awareness. I can't tell somebody else how to think or feel. Even that, hence that's the ideal. You should be able to question those things. One's senses, whether it's feelings, thinking, emotions, thoughts, you should be able to question those things from within. Hence the term of peace be upon you, silence be upon you, because the listening is done from within. What we do is we hear each other.
Well, if I can tap in a little bit, right? I had that word a lot, discernment, right? Discernment is not beyond awareness or consciousness. It is a focus point I think we have a little background coming up. So, hey, Knowledge, do you have the another YouTube open?
Nah, man, I don't got nothing open.
Oh,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I can hear you. I can hear you properly though.
but yeah. I don't think discernment, is beyond, awareness, or what we call consciousness, you know, or the subconscious. I think it's just like a focus point, like I was saying, that that allow you to focus on, on a specific thing, you know. That's what discernment, is more is kind of that's how I'm looking at it, for me, right? Uh, Other people might look at it different, might think it's a superior, it's superior than, awareness, or consciousness or the subconscious, you know. But again, me personally, I don't look at it like that. I look at it, as the ability, to focus, on a specific point, whether it's time or whether it's space, whether it's being, right, or things in general. That's what it allow you to. So but when we're talking about, reality, right? Uh and and to go back on, like, where we come from. So I would definitely agree with Cook, in knowledge. I think that we have always been here. You know, uh there wasn't a time that we start to come into existence. I think we go in and out of existence. We always go in and out of existence. You know, sometimes we do it at will, right? And sometimes we do it subconsciously, right? But it is, our ability, to focus on that we are looking for. I'm gonna just keep it short right here, so somebody could tap in.
I mean, just speaking about discernment, like I said, that's just the ability to judge well, understand things. I was just trying to get to where Don was going with it. That's all. You know, that's all I was saying. But yeah, I understand what Cook was saying also. If we were always here, because there's no other explanation. Because if something did bring us here, where are they now? You know, did we kill them off and nothing left standing was man? You know, that's just something to dive deep and think about right there. You know, that's a good question.
And you're right, now that's the reason why. Um, Now the one thing I will say is it's plenty reasons why. Like I can't even begin to name the reasons that we have been given to where we came from. And that's the reason why I started off by saying I have to take my religious out because that is a belief that was given to me, if I'm being honest. And the only way to really be honest is to be honest with yourself. When you're honest with yourself, it's like my man Dom said, listening comes from inside, hearing comes from outside. I couldn't agree more. If you really listen to what's going on inside of you, you know that that's where the truth at. So if I got to be truthful, then I know that my religion was given to me by my parents. It was a way of life for them. It became a way of life for me. But I'm trying to find the best way to say it. I never break faith, but I have a conscious mind that is always thinking, always evolving. I also have the ability to question whatever I feel like I need to. So when I question where do we come from outside of this book that I believe in, take the book away, take the faith away, and let's see what we left with. It's equivalent to a man that's working on a job, right? I'm gonna be brief. A man working on a job, he feel like That's his
And
life.
yes,
He get up in the
my bad to
morning.
cut you off, Cook. My bad. But yeah,
Go,
anybody that
go.
want to join the panel is more than welcome. Just hit the link at the top of the chat, and anybody can join. Join in, Lady Shay. Root Words join in. Lonnie Hell, you can join in. Anybody can join in. We can have 100 motherfuckers on here. Everybody join in. Go ahead, Cook. My bad.
It's all right. Um, but I was just gonna use this one analogy. Then I was gonna pass the mic back around. If you got a man, right? This all he know. He get up. He go to work. He take care of his family. One day he go to work and he get fired. Now he been on this job 20 years. That's all he knows. When he get fired, that's changing his whole life because he thinks that this is all that he is supposed to be doing. Now that man got a choice. He can either become a wreck or he can start exploring other avenues because he's really bigger than that. But he just don't know because he's been programmed for so long. That's how I was. Well, technically, that's how I still am. I was programmed with religion. I was. And I accept it. I love it. But, like I said, the one thing that we all share is a conscious mind. And I believe that that is the reason why people come up with ways to try to tell other people this is where we came from. You had God that created you. You had the Big Bang theory that's where you come from. You came from a monkey. We because of that conscious mind that's always thinking, that has always been here. Always. That's the reason why we don't have a starting date. Because that conscious mind always been here. Now, if anything evolved, it was the mind. I don't think it was the body. Because if that's the case, this ain't my final form. If I came from a monkey and I'm here, what am I gonna turn into next? An elephant? I mean, what's gonna be my final form? I don't think that. I don't think they were trying to explain it to you that way. I think all of those were hidden messages. Well, we came from eight. No, what's the real message? Because you giving me a coded message. I think it was consciousness. That is what's constantly evolving. And the only way we can really get a grasp on it is like my man Dom said, and like Jeannie said, Raul said, go through your senses, is what you perceive. Language, you perceive language. But look how many different languages it is. That alone is exercising consciousness. But y'all go ahead. I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead, man. I want to hear what y'all got to say.
Much love to Lady Shay on the panel. Let me let Natalie do the introduction. Can we get a mic check, Lady Shay?
Peace and salute to everyone.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Just wanted to make sure you are able to speak because I know sometimes you have difficulty.
Salute, salute. Welcome to the panel.
I'm gonna tap in. Oh, go ahead, Lady Shay. Go ahead.
No, I just was gonna say gratitude for allowing me of knowledge, and yeah, I'll definitely tap in soon enough due time. But go ahead, y'all. I'll tap in soon enough.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of tap in quickly with Cook. First, I'm gonna say, bro, I see you coming. You know what I'm saying? I see how you're coming. That's what I mean. I see you coming. I see how you're coming. Respect and salute to you, bro. But I'm gonna say, I agree, with on the conscious, on us, have one thing in common, is the which is conscious, I kind of talk about that a lot, And first, I have to comment on that. I have to say something about that comment I see in the chat that religion is keeping us here. In fact, I think religion is doing the opposite way. Religion is the tools or is the thing that's keep on getting us up out of here, and that make us, that turn us into that fragment, you know, any type of energy where we have to remember ourselves, which is put ourselves back together, which is making the mind becoming whole instead of uh, 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 which that's keeping us from becoming whole. So we are always on a fragmented state of mind. Where this is why how this is why we can only kind of experience things from a perspective instead of the wholeness of the thing. Because our mind is fragmented. So I just wanted to say that right quick. I think religion is one of the tools that is being used. It's not keeping us here, because being here is to be conscious. Yeah, I understand some people think that we're really dreaming. Our real self is somewhere, in the universe and on another planet. That's their story, their point of view. But what I'm saying, I think, here, being here is what makes you conscious. You know what I'm saying? So I think, that we supposed, to be conscious. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to evolve consciously, like Cook is saying. Consciously, we're supposed to be evolved. Not saying that the body, not going to evolve. I think, as you evolve consciously, then you're able to use different aspect of their consciousness to uh, recalibrate your body on how you want it, or on based on your capacity, or your level of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? That's just my take on that. Y'all could go ahead and type in right quick.
Hey Dom, you're more than welcome to talk, man. You don't have to type in the chat, bro. You up on the panel. We want to hear what you got to say. So I just want to put that out there, bro.
No problem. Thanks. So I guess since you just said it, I guess it depends on what you think here is. Have you ever left a vessel? Are you just looking precariously through the eyes? When you're in the shower? Are you in the shower? Or are you still in that vessel as you're looking within the shower? So once you realize you've always been inside, unless you're the few characters that can do astral travel and all that kind of stuff, you've always lived inside of that vessel. So the illusion, the play is that you think you live outside. Now we're going to use our perceptions, hence why we use word perception. So now once you're aware of those things, then you can start asking yourself, how does it serve to know that my vessel's been manipulated many times? We do manipulation with foods. We do manipulation with animals. So why wouldn't our own vessels be manipulated? But that opens up the question, are you the body? Because if you think you're the body, let's play the game. Who runs it when you go to sleep? Right now, all 5 of us on the panel, who's running the blood and the water in your body right now? What is that? Is that an ongoing program? Is that the hard drive that's running the ongoing program? This is why the concept of know thyself. Who's the knower and who's the self? Then you might become aware that both of them are programs. That's why we have so many programs, TV programs, radio programs, internet programs. What is a program? That's the masculine energy. The feminine energy is the teachable energy. But again, those are questions one should be able to ask oneself, not others, because it doesn't serve about knowing others. It's about knowing oneself. You're in that vessel. So how does it work? Where do thoughts come from, as some people have been inquiring about? And why do I only know certain languages? Numbers, colors, what other language could I say? Body language. Those are all languages. How we communicate with each other. But in that communication, again, is frequencies and sound. We're starting to learn that hopefully, and maybe in our lifespan, science or whatever we want to call it, are going to be able to see auras. They're going to see the different energies that are around us on a given moment. Some people can see it. Some people can play a musical instrument and see colors. Well, then that opens the question then, what is the color red? Am I saying the color red, the word red, but what am I actually seeing? Two different things going at once. My description of it and what I'm actually seeing. But most people think they're one. So if it's red, then how do I explain it in a Latin language or in a Mandarin language? Does that confirm it or denounce it? These are questions that people should be asking oneself if they really want to understand the indoctrination that they're in. By the way, the number one dogma is not religion or state or science, it's commerce. You sell the ideal of religion or state, that's commerce.
Yeah, two just quick question real quick. I mean not a question, just this right quick and anybody could get it. If you know, you know, right? Once you know and understand that you are on a quest, right? Then there is no you will stop asking, right? What quest that you're on. You will just be.
Okay, so with that saying, we're on a quest. So the bigger question is, okay, we're on this quest. So why are we here? Are we here just to live everyday life and facilitate like and enjoy this human experience or live it out till we die? What is the purpose for us being here?
I'm gonna answer it first, and then the question, the panel is the panel can go.
If anybody more than welcome to answer it, you know.
Yeah, anybody want to take it
Like
after that?
what's our purpose of being here? What are we fulfilling besides trying to find a sense of self, a sense of purpose, of you know, engaging in converse like we're doing right now, having dialogues. What is the purpose of being here in this realm? What is the human experience?
Well, first of all, it's an experience. Is I don't limit the experience to a human being point of view. It's a experience in
Now,
general.
the reason I say human being point of view because we're human beings. I mean, you don't have to limit it to that, but at the end of the day, we're humans. So I'm speaking in general in reference to us. What is our purpose? I'm not speaking on the animals, trees, none of that stuff. I'm speaking on us. What is our purpose of being here?
Yeah, that's where I'm going with it. Knowledge.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not speaking on the animal. I'm speaking on me. I have an animal nature, right? I'm a Scorpio, right? We don't have to take it there, right? But I'm just go ahead and speak on me in general because I think I'm the gene of all, right? Or the gene of all, right? Of everything, right? Is in me, right? So again, I'm not going to limit myself, from to only a human being. But if the question is being asking directly, to my human nature, right, I could take it there, right. But me, speaking, by myself, my opinion, right. I'm speaking in all aspect. I'm not just speaking in one aspect because I like to speak in the in a wholeness aspect. But again, the question was actually directed toward the human being. So is for we here for an experience. This is what the journey is about, is to experience. That's my short answer, and anybody could go ahead and type in, and answer in their own way.
I'll tap in real quick. Let me do a quick shout out, of course, everyone on the panel. K Rock, shout out to you. Naga Genie, Dom, and of course, Knowledge Uprising, and everyone in the chat. So to the question, what is the purpose? What is the point? What are we doing, right? So to speak, paraphrasing. For me personally, all and nothing, right? It's an experience. It's a new awareness. It's different layers of diversity, right? And it can go in all different layers and categories, et cetera. Again, depending on you personally, right? So it can be to just conversate, or it can be a little bit deeper as far as intermingling and producing and having children and going through all that, right? Or it could be something just, hey, you're just here to observe and you just want to explore different cities, different avenues, different languages. So again, it's all due to personal experience or personal preference. Mentioning those things because they are a personal preference of mine. I think experience is a major factor to what life is. You know, um, yeah, and there's different ways you can go about it or even consider. right? But just to be basic with it, I'll go with that. It depends on you personally and where you want to take it, but the overall, I think, is experience or awareness.
Well said. Go ahead, somebody else.
Dom, so what you think? I mean, I can agree with the experience. R Cook, Dom, one of you guys.
Well, I like both answers. Like I don't see no wrong answer in what Raul said or what Lady Shay said. I don't I I can't find a way to disagree with either one of them. Um I think it's passing on the information, kind of like what you said earlier, knowledge. We pass the information on. Now, I think it the information has to be defined by who you're passing it to. Okay, this is what I mean by that. You got a man that grew up rough. He was in the street, thief, murderer, just a killer, right? But then he fall in love with a woman. They have a child. He don't want to pass that type of information on to his child. So what he does is he becomes a better man. He get a job. He do all these things, and he want to pass those ideals, those ethics, that information. He want to pass that information on to his child. Now, of course, when the child get older, he not gonna lie to him because the child gonna want to know, okay, daddy, when I'm around my uncles and your friends, I hear about you used to get into all kinds of, so it's not that he try to hide who he was, but he don't want to pass that information to his child. But guess what? It's gonna get passed to him anyway because it's in his genetics.
Mm-mm-mm.
It's already in him. The child, or what the father has, the child already carries. You know what I'm saying? So what the father is trying to do is pass on new information, because that's what's getting passed from generation to generation, information. Now, like Raul and Lady Shay said, experience. With Once a person has experienced something, you can take it further because you know what you did. Now you can't go back and fix what you did, but the experience will allow you to keep from doing it, to keep from making another mistake. Experience will allow you to go forward just a little better. But I agree with Raul. I agree with Lady Shay. I appreciate what they said, and my take on all purpose is information, and that we're here to pass that information on. And the reason why I say conscious is because that conscious mind, it needs information. And if you don't give it information, it's gonna get on its own.
And I agree with you. And I agree with you because, like I said, the experience to pass information on down from generation to generation, it kind of keeps the cycle going. It doesn't leave anything stale. And I believe, like, just like all us talking right now, we got some sense of information. Don, Raul, Lady Shay, R Cook, we all got some sense of information from somewhere, and knowledge and understanding, and overall it's to learn and to move forward, at the end of the day. That would be my sentiment, as far as like the experience of why are we here, you know. I mean, because I look at it like we can't just be here for no reason, and that's why I always say the human experience. Because it's multifaceted. It's so many different ways to enjoy the human experience. But Dom, I see you unmuted your mic. You got the floor. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to ask you, and I'm glad that you actually responded to your own inquiry because I know Naga added something after, but you kind of stuck to what you had initially asked, the human experience, not the human being experience, the human experience, because the being part is different than the human
Well,
part.
I understand that human being, us being human, and I get what you're saying. It's a play on words, but
It could be, but actually, to me, they're two different species. There's the being having a human experience. The one that's experiencing, the other one's the observer. So
okay,
for the
okay.
human experience, some people would say, okay, I eat, I shit, I steward my vessel, I shelter it, which is
Yeah, it's
another part
speaking
of
in
steward.
humans in general. I
Yeah,
get that.
the
Yeah,
beast,
yeah,
the
yeah,
animal
yeah. I
part
get
of
what you're
us.
saying. Like
Yeah.
I said, it's a play on
Mm,
words. I get where you're going.
mm. But now the being part, we're different. Now we're different than the species called animals, because animals do not create bridges and highways. Humans by themselves wouldn't be able to do that. Now we're talking about the essence of who we are. We're not the physical form. We're not the shades. We're not the genders. This is why when people talk about how would I put it, astrologies, it's not based on thinking that you were in the womb. You jump in after. That's why you have a birth date. Once that vessel's been conceived, then whoever we truly are come in. The vessel now starts aging. That's where people play with the concept of time. Now, the sun and the moon, those are images up there. Call it whatever you want. You can play the flat earth globe games. That's like playing the game half full, half empty game. But again, those are images. Are they material? Don't know. I can only speculate at that point. But we're in forms. And then these forms need things like food, different types of food, depending on your culture, depends what part of the world you're born in. You also need liquids. So that's the human experience. Now, if a person wants to interpret that as that it's a cage, it's a learning experience, yeah, there's many possibilities at that point. Again, there's many points also.
Oh, okay, okay. So I see you're getting real technical right now. So I'm gonna ask you. So what is the purpose of us? And when I say us being beings on this realm of Earth or this plane or whatever you want to call it, what's your sentiments on that? What is the purpose of being here?
Kind of like animals, we're like grazers. We're here to serve a small purpose, depending on the different ages we're in. And as the ages shift, then we're going to get into what's called transhumanism. We're going to go beyond the human aspect of it. We're in it now. Think about all the technology we're using. Who gave us this Wi-Fi technology? It's beyond the human capacity. Now I get some people are going to have to expand their brains on this a little bit because we've been so indoctrinated with all the different languages. So now in this particular case, if we had this technology when in the old ages, when the written work was given, we wouldn't be using the written work. It's a too dumbed down process. It's too very
Okay,
hemispherical.
okay. So quick
Go ahead.
question then. When you speaking on technology,
Mhm.
do you think this technology that we have right now is primitive, and there could have been some advanced technology in the past?
Well, compared to the vessel that we're in right now, Kate, it is lesser. We're in high technology right now, our vessels.
Okay, I understand that our vessels. I'm not speaking about our vessels right now. I'm speaking about technology. I'm speaking about technology. What we're using right now. We're using cell phones. We're using laptops. We're using cell towers to communicate. So the question I'm trying to convey to you, if you can understand where I'm coming from, uh, do you think this technology is advanced or is something that's been around and we're now just actually tapping back into it? Because they say civilizations disappear about what every 200 years. As far as like countries and the greatest places that to ever rule the world. So, do you think we're in a technological advancement to where we're catching up to technology more than we can create an advancement of technology, or do you think it's like this is something primitive to the past? Like I
Well,
say, they built pyramids and all that stuff. So,
well,
what's your synopsis on that?
we got to take a grain of salt that whatever these pyramids were, that the human had anything to do with all of that. Again, these are stories that are written, not orally, unless you met an immortal being. So now at that point, it just be written down, and those stories could easily be manipulated. This is where you have to use discernment. How does it serve for this information, regardless if it was manipulated or not? How does it serve to know that the technology that we're in right now was even given? Was it given to the human race, or was the human race able to come up with this? I doubt it. That most of us could say, "Listen, how does Wi-Fi really work? How do those two objects in the sky work? How does it, whatever we pollute the environment up into the air, let alone the ocean, that future generations are going to be affected by that?" Most people don't want to be aware of that kind of stuff. What they want to be aware of is, how can I earn enough fiat currency, which is fine, and that's a construct, by the way. And you have to convince everybody else. So this technology that you're talking about is dumbed down to a certain point. It's a very low energy. That's the better word. It's a lower energy as you're in one too now, because you have to perceive it. They're not actually become more intuitive. Then you would actually say, okay, then reading information is very slow for me. So, but the question would be more for you. Do you think that technology, how is it going?
Well, the question for me is that I don't know
Okay.
because I don't know what the fuck happened in the past. They like to say a lot of civilizations died after 200 years and great countries and powers and stuff. I don't know. But they like to talk about the past as if they had so much advancements that we are oblivious to today. And like you say, they don't speak it orally, it's through stories and stuff like that. Things we see through hieroglyphs and books about ancient times and stuff. We don't know what really went on in them situations, but all we can do is try to make assumptions and, like you say, use discernment and try to get a good judgment of understanding it. But even when we're using discernment, that don't mean we necessarily have the right answer for them things about the past because we wasn't there. We don't know.
Okay. So,
All we can go
in,
off is what they left us. All like with things about the past, especially if it's like 200, 300, 400 years, all we can do is go based off what they left us.
um, certain technology, even in the past, it would have been done by the few. So even in our age, only a few people really understand certain things, let alone how to make tires and rubbers. I'm talking about creating it, not just people manufacturing it. So now some people understood what gold can and cannot do as a conduit. The technology we're using, Wi-Fi plays havoc on the human vessel. Same with electricity and same with radio frequencies. Most people aren't going to be aware of that. So back in the days when you used to see the Egyptians, the way they used to be aligned, some of them, where the way the gold was positioned around them in a triangle, that was for energy. Again, it was the few. It's like some people that can consume blood. They understand spiritual cooking. Same with gold. But again, the masses aren't designed for that. Not everybody's going to
Yeah,
understand.
that's true. We can speak on going. We can even go into the Anunnaki and build on that subject matter.
Yes. Hmm.
Because they came to Earth looking for gold. So
Hmm. But now you're tapping into, is there different planes? This is why they play the flat Earth and globe game. That's just one big distraction. That's another dogma.
yeah, that flat Earth and globe Earth shit. Like there's really no point to that shit. And to be honest, flat earthers really don't know if the fucking Earth flat.
And how would that
And
serve?
globe earthers really don't know if the Earth is a globe.
Hmm.
So
I'm with you.
I'm gonna keep it real with that shit.
Hmm. But people will play with that game because, again, this is like religion. Do you pick Christianity or do you pick Muslims? Do you pick liberals? You pick conservative. That's the same
There you go.
indoctrination.
They pick a side.
Hmm.
And whatever sounds pleasing to their mind or whatever resonates with them, they gonna go with based on their influence. If they
Hmm.
watching a bunch of damn flat earth videos 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, of course they're gonna start to believe the Earth is flat because
Mhm.
all the fuck they doing is watching about videos talking about how the Earth is flat,
Okay, it's
and
like
then
when
they're gonna
people,
try to connect, and then listen, no,
yeah,
they're gonna try to
sorry.
connect it to, oh, when now we conscious because the Earth is flat. That doesn't make you conscious. So it's just a lot of shit with that. You know,
But it, it gives a read on where most of the masses are at.
yeah,
So I give an example. You'll hear people talk about capitalism versus communism. I say, well, then you don't understand fiat currency and military. If me and Kay, I'm just using me as an example, me and you as an example. If were able to print as much money as we want and have a military, I can make any ism work for a short period of time, of course. I can make Marxism work, liberalism work. I can make any communism work. You know, it's like when America talks about having guns. I say, you ever fasted for 30 days? No. You see how quickly drones fly over top of you and say, listen, you bring all your guns and your international bullets to our FEMA camps. We'll feed you. This is the game that most people are unaware that they're in. But they want to play like they're rebellious to a system that they don't understand. The system, what it wants is obedience. And if you don't want obedience, then you have to ask yourself, why do we have all this bling bling? Why do we have cars? Why do we have all this technology given to us? That opens up another can of worms.
hell, hey, YP Diddy getting away with all the shit he doing. You want $1 million? Come to the room.
Yeah,
I
I'm
got a
just,
question.
yeah, yeah.
I got a question. If we not right where somebody is at, how do we know where he at? For example, right? Because I'm speaking on the ratio, right, of the most of the masses and the so-called less of the masses. So, for example, I'm in Brooklyn, right? So if I'm not in Manhattan to know what's going on in Manhattan, how do I know it's really going on in Manhattan? Or how do I, I decide and talk about what's going on in Manhattan if I'm not there? Because I hear a lot of time we talk about most of the masses, right? Or less of the masses. Are we talking about in that case to say that okay, this is where we at, we are included and most of the less of the masses, or are we speaking from an outside perspective?
I'm gonna give a simple answer, and I'll let everybody else take the floor. But it's social media, man. If you don't know if you're in Brooklyn and you're not in Manhattan, and how do you really want to know what's going on in Manhattan? All you gotta do is find somebody in Brooklyn that's live or posting videos, and then that's going to give you a sense of what's going on there. That's just a simple answer, but I wasn't getting too technical in depth with it, but that's what I would say, you know, because that's what most people are using today: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. If they not there, all you got to do is just find a page and you're there with them. Just like we're here right now all together, but we're all in separate spots of wherever we're at. But right here on YouTube on this panel, we're together right now. Somebody else can get the floor.
Okay, but wouldn't that be okay? Technology, the technology part, because I heard Dom say something about technology when he was saying that the technology that we have today is not the technology that they had back then. Well, of course it wasn't, but I also agree with when he said, "Where did it come from?" I damn sure don't know. But what I do know is that these cell phones that we have today, oh, it's way more advanced technology that's out, but we don't have access to it as far as the masses, just like what Raul was just saying, the masses. If he's in Brooklyn and I'm in Georgia, how is he gonna know what's going on in Georgia unless I communicate with him or unless he communicate with me and tell me what's going on in Brooklyn? We won't know.
That, that's why I say social media.
But
That's what
back in
everybody
the
using to
day,
figure out.
they had social media then. It just wasn't like
Well,
it is
social media
now.
back then was analogous to like newspapers,
Hmm.
news postings, and stuff like
The
that.
radio.
There you go. So that was a social media back then. You know.
But just think about it, knowledge. The radio frequencies. That's the same thing that's going on now. It's just a different way of tapping into it. If you want to know
Correct.
how Wi-Fi works,
We're
it
getting
works through
visuals along
frequency.
with sound now. We're getting visuals along with sound now. So I agree with that.
Yeah, but it come from frequencies. Like it it's a frequency. Some people say it's energy. Some people say it's what is it, AM, FM modulation. I mean, it's a whole
Yeah.
lot of different
Like
terminology that I don't really know
different
about.
bands of
But
band, different band of wavelengths or whatever. Like
yes,
yeah.
So
and it's
how
been
do we
tapped in.
how do we know for sure that the pyramid wasn't some type of social media?
We don't. Because another thing that Dom
I
said, he
know.
said that
I
this
hear a
stuff
lot
was
of
lost
things
in
about the
translation.
pyramid. Yeah,
I believe that.
I hear a lot of things about it. I hear they said it was a energy conductor. I hear people say it was a tomb for the pharaohs, and what it did, it preserved their riches. So when they did come back into this reality or this realm, they would have all their riches to come back into this place. And then I hear it was a power plant. You know, I hear different things about the pyramids. My question is, how did they build them bitches back then? How did they stack them big ass blocks? And it's just like if you look at places over in Europe, they have these big ass rocks and they built mounds and walls and castles out of this shit. How were they able to move these things back then? Now I could just go on the fly and say, okay, well, maybe human beings were larger back then. Maybe we were larger back then. We're able to move things because our strength was more elevated than it was today, But I can't simply answer that question. That's one of them questions where you got to get in deep thought and, actually try to understand. I mean, because I'm not going to lie. If I don't know, I'm going to say I don't know. All I can do is express my sentiments and give you an idea of what I think at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think back in the day we had more we had like for example, I think like dinosaur was a form of technology, right? Was a form of tools that we used back in the day, right? Was like some type of uh thing that we probably use kind of like a
So you saying we were able to tame these things and have them move and facilitate everyday duties like how we use with cows and mules and stuff like that. We were able to utilize them. As far as like
well, I'm
domestic
saying
animals. That's
I'm
basically
saying
what
they
I'm
were
saying.
made. I'm saying they were made for that purpose. It's not like they're like natural. They were some type of animals. It's kind of like
Well, when you say
the
tools, that's what I could come up with. I mean, because I know they use mules and donkeys and cows to do certain things. So when you say tool, I'm thinking, okay, so he's saying we use dinosaurs as domestic animals to do things for us. We what you call that? Fuck, what's the word? We domesticated them and we trained them to do things. So now, if that's the case, then we're able to domesticate dinosaurs. That's some shit. I don't know. I'm gonna let Dom speak on that because Dom be having a lot to say about a lot of shit. I like brother. He be talking about some shit. And
yeah.
ladies,
Let me
you
finish
got
saying
any
this right
sentiments
quick.
on anything?
Let me finish saying this right quick. What I mean by them being a tool, like the tool that we use today for construction, right? And the tool that we use today for farms, for farming, right? I'm saying that dinosaur was a form of tools like that. It
And
wasn't like
and
an
I'm saying
animal.
yeah, and I'm saying the same thing you saying. But we gotta domesticate them. We can't just have a wild dinosaur and have it move something, right? We would have to
But
domesticate
again,
it.
bro, I'm not looking at it from the perspective of an animal. I'm not saying that dinosaur was an animal. I'm saying it was an actual tool, like like them big ass truck we be having. A truck is not an animal, right? It's a mechanical tool, right?
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. But at the end of the day, how could it be a mechanical tool? And I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at it differently. But I get what you're saying. But from my point of view, if we were to use it as a tool, and I will look at it just like a domesticated animal that we're using for labor. We would use them for labor, and if we use them for labor, that will be a tool until we come up with some type of uh, machine or something to utilize uh, that instead of using a dinosaur. You get what I'm
Yeah, I
saying?
get what you're saying. But me personally, this is what I'm saying with the that's what I brought the dinosaurs in the first place is to express that I think that they were a form of mechanical tools that the ancestors were so advanced that they built these huge tools. Just like they were so advanced, they built huge pyramids. They weren't built like like the building that we usually like houses and castle like that. They had huge pyramids. So I'm saying that the ancestors they weren't their mind wasn't fragmented. They were able to to think on a larger scale than we think today.
Yeah, of course they didn't have a bunch of things interfering with them. Like people play chess way better than they play now. Even though we still got some good chess players today, they didn't have all these distractions. They were able to sit down and actually focus for hours without any distractions. They could actually just sit there in silence and actually study the game without all these extra things like we have right now today. But my question is, if they were tools, how did we build them tools? How did we build dinosaurs? And how come we not able to do that now? And look, like they say in the comments, bedrock. And see, that's why I said we had to domesticate dinosaurs. And if that's the case, dinosaurs were very smart and intuitive then. We could make them do anything. We were able to train and tame them to do things like that, to build things. You know, they were some smart creatures. So the question is, how did they become extinct? Okay, well, people say, well, asteroid came 65 million years ago and killed them off. So where did that leave us? We're still here.
Yeah, I don't really.
So some survived.
Yeah, I don't really get into what they say. This is the reason why I asked the question because I will have to be a part of that in order for me to fully understand
I
what they
mean, the
are
reason I
saying.
say they say because I'm trying to get into all dynamics. I'm not trying to be one sided. I'm trying to understand the full picture. You feel me? So I will have to bring they in.
Well, I see what they're saying, but me personally, I'm looking at it. I have to be able to see my full picture.
Yeah. And I'm trying to make clarity of the picture by seeing my picture plus getting an understanding of what we already know. You get what I'm saying?
Well, wait, let me ask Raul a question. Hey, Raul, so what you saying is today a dinosaur would be like an excavator or a dump truck, a T
Yes,
Rex instead of it being called a T Rex, it'd be called a tractor trailer.
yes,
Instead
yes,
of it being
yes,
a brontosaurus, it'd be called a dump truck. Instead of it being stegosaurus, it'd be called uh, what they call it, bobcat. I see
yeah.
what
You
you're
heard me.
saying.
And
You
that's
heard
my
me. You
point
get
I
though.
what
think I
I'm
That's
see what
my
he's
saying.
point.
saying.
That's my point. But you still would be able to have to domesticate them things because they are creatures. They are not machines. At the end of the day,
I'm saying they
No,
are.
I think what Raul is saying, that was the trick. The trick was to make you think it was some kind of extinct animal, when all the while it was that type of technology that they had,
Yes, Cook, you get
and it
what I'm
probably was
saying. So
broke
go
up in
ahead.
translation.
okay, but hmm, that's something to see. So some type of mechanics that it's gone now. Then
I don't think it's gone. I think it's still here. I think it's just passed on the knowledge, like what we were talking about earlier, with experience and the information and stuff. I think it just passed on to a different. I don't think that there's nothing new under the sun. I think that it just keep getting circulated, and every round goes higher and higher. So we are supposed to keep going higher with the advancements. We people don't even really use the radio no more. Why? Because of all the information that's been passed on, we were able to manipulate it, not change it, manipulate it. That's all we were able to do. Because really, man, I don't think that we invented nothing. I think that everything that we needed was always here, just like we was always here. We didn't invent that stuff. It was already here. But guess
I agree
what?
with that. I agree with that.
From information, just like what we sharing right now, from information being passed from one person to the next, we were able to manipulate certain things and make it work. Manipulate the radio and the TV into an Apple laptop and a damn iPhone. We turned the TV and the radio into a laptop and an iPhone. We didn't invent that. We just manipulated it. It was already here. We just manipulated it. That's all we did. And people got rich off of it. Like the man Don was saying, commerce, that's how they keep that's how they keep people in the dark with commerce. You so busy trying to get the bag. You so busy trying to chase after what they selling you. You're so busy trying to do that. You lose focus. And you don't sit back and think, well, wait a minute. Is what you telling me the truth? Because think of what the truth is. What? And that was the question I was going to ask. And I'm going to say this, then I'm going to shut up. Truth. What exactly is the truth? Knowledge. If you tell me, hey, cool, go outside real quick. It's 8 stars in the sky. Maybe it's 8 stars where you at, but when I go outside, it ain't number 3. So am I supposed to say that you telling me the truth? I'm gonna say, no, knowledge, that's a lie. It ain't number 3 on my hill. But if I just accept what you saying is truth, even though I really see 3, you just told me the truth.
Yeah, but see, it's the truth depending on my location and your location. So
Is that the meaning of truth?
so technically, yeah, it's true where I'm at, and then technically it's true where you at. But we're in two different areas, so of course you may see something different. You know, that's just like if I say, "Our cook, go outside, it's a fire burning," and you go outside, don't see nothing. We're not in the same vicinity, so you know.
But I would already know that. Like I'll already know where you at. But my point is, I would have to accept what you're telling me. If I don't accept what you're telling me, that ain't truth to me.
There you go.
But what exactly is truth though? And I heard Raul laugh. I heard somebody laughing in the background. So I think y'all get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get you, bro. Listen, so let me just tap in right quick. We all men up here, so Lady Shea been quiet for a minute. Don't be shy, Lady Shea. Come on, get the mic whenever you're ready. Let me just say this right quick, right? I agree with you, right? With with what's the truth, and I think everything is true. So, for example, with the stars, to me, right? Let's say I'm the one observing both of y'all going back and forth between the 8 and the 3 stars, right? And I look up where I'm at, then I see, it's 5 more. I'm like, man, you're tripping, you know. It's 16 stars. I got 5 over here. Plus the 8, plus the 3 is 16. And somebody could come, and say, nah, it's 10 over here. So you see, so the truth is expanded, to what I call infinity, right? So the truth is expansion. is the expansion of things, right? Of everything. That's what the truth is. So the more we're trying to narrow the truth, is the more that it's become a lie.
Okay, so if you look at my channel, when you click on my channel, it says your truth, your story. Okay, so and I see Dom, he's in the chat, and Dom, you can reiterate. I see you like I like you. I see how you like to have a play on words and try to get a real good understanding of what we're talking about. I mean, but I'm pretty sure you can ascertain by us bolivating. Dom says now there is truth or true. Now, in the sense of truth, uh, I'm telling the truth because in my heart I know it's 5 stars outside where I'm at. And then if we talk about true, yeah, it's true to me using discernment. It is 5 stars out there. Now I can video call R Cook, and he could show me that it's 3 stars out there, and that would be true also. So, Dom, if you want, you can elaborate a little further. But I get what you're saying, but I try not to play on words too much. But you get what we're saying.
So
And
in a
Lady
realm,
J, you can come in after Dom too.
so in a realm where your senses can easily be misled, how can that be truth then?
It's not misled. It's just we're in two different locations, so it's something different.
Okay. So for me, like I said, truth and love is our energy. Love is when you breathe in and out. Truth is an energy. We're living in a realm that we can easily mislead ourselves with our senses, especially if you could easily have a dolphin jumping out of a basketball court.
Yeah, but
That's a
we're not talking
hologram.
about dolphins jumping out of basketball. We're talking about
No,
stars in the sky,
no,
depending
what
on
I'm
what
okay.
question we're at.
Okay, so you're talking about stars in the sky.
And all right, and so just like if you were there and you say, okay, well I see 5 stars in the sky, you're gonna say, well, that's not truth because it's 1 star in my sky. You get what I'm saying? But I'm telling the truth because you can't deny what my eyes are seeing. Just like I can deny what your perception is of the sky and what you see at it. You get what I'm saying? So,
It's always an illusion when people try to debate one's own view. You can't see the sun.
but see, we're not debating.
No, no. Okay.
I would agree with Cook if he says 3 stars in the sky where he's from.
Even
And
even the ideal of agreeing and disagreeing. You cannot see through my senses the sun through my senses. So you're going to have to either use your own perception to think of what I'm saying, but you're not still seeing it through my senses. So now, if all of a sudden you saw 5 stars up in the sky, and I told you those are holograms, what does that just say? It just means you can easily be misled. This is why when people tell you a story through scientific,
holograms in the sky.
it could be, but unless you understand how to read energy. Okay, well, again, I heard you guys talking about energy. If a person wants to understand energy and understand how those signs in the skies play a major role, that's happened in the past and it's going to exist in the future. This is why when people talk about April 8th, for example, it's what's been going up till up April 8th and continue for a couple of years
Yeah,
after
when
April
I'm
8th.
at the eclipse supposed to happen around 3:45. So
That's just the point. There's things that are happening way before. Some people are probably catching that they're getting very drowsy. We're living in an energy
well,
realm.
today is the second day of Mercury retrograde also.
Yes,
So
thank you.
I
Perfect.
mean, so
So
Dom, I'm not oblivious to things, bro. I've
I'm
been
just
doing
sharing it
this,
here.
and I study up on things, bro. I'm not no imbecile that don't know nothing. You feel me? And I appreciate you coming up to my panel expressing your sentiments too, man. You know what I'm saying? I can see you're a very knowledgeable brother, and you have some shit to talk about.
No,
But
he got a lot of questions to ask.
but
He got a lot of questions. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and there's a
but
reason
keep
why I
going,
put those.
Dom.
That's why I put them in the question form.
Well, it is one thing to express yourself, and it's one thing to ask question.
Yes.
Because at that point, so are you, your language is, is asking question. That's how you express yourself through asking question.
Well, if people
I
understand the
mean,
concept of
me
prayer,
precisely. I would like to. hear your sentiments, your point of view about things. And and see, I I get to where you're going because I'm feeling your energy in the chat, and it's okay. But like I said, bro, anytime you want to say something, you don't have to necessarily type it. You're up here on the panel with us. Express it, convey it to us. We want to hear you talk. You know, like I said, you're new to the panel anyway, so you're more than welcome to be here. But I really like how you get in the chat going though. But yeah, go ahead, Don. Take the
I'm
floor.
trying to hear what Lady Chill got to say because she been quiet for a minute.
Well, I'll be quick. More or less, answer a couple of things. Um, Actually, I'm gonna ask the question just to be funny with it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and answer it. Right? The question was asked earlier. What is the purpose for life? Individually as we see it. What can be the purpose for what we're doing right now? And for the answer I'm going to give is, like I said earlier, all and nothing, right? It's the wholeness of everything that we can see or envision, right? Um, and let me throw another question out there. What if there was no purpose to life, right? And as we come into this world, this realm, as we call it is up to us to have the thought, the mindset, the goal, the focus, the determination, the actual footwork to put into what is or can be the purpose. And if you don't have it, at least the thought of it to orchestrate it, then it can easily be directed to another to then, misinterpret or give information of what is or what isn't, or how should something be or how something shouldn't be. And so, this is why, again, from my point of view, my stance of my experience and things, it's always going to be to an individual's perspective, right? And I think we all can agree to that, just like all had expressed, right? What we see for ourselves is that in its truth. We're seeing it, we're experiencing it, we're sensing it, we're hearing it, we're touching it, right? We're even tasting it. So, how can another person put into a question or debate or um, information that would maybe direct or misdirect or even give a analysis to a possibility outside of what you just said? Something that I find very irritating is, how someone can hear what I'm in fact saying and will use other words to express what they see, feel, or understand about what I am saying, right? And this is how I can get misinterpreted, misunderstood, or my point of view will not reach a point of what in fact it is. My point, my expression, my feeling, my sense, etc. Right? So overall I think the message has to be clear from within, and we have to gather this information, this awareness for ourselves. And it is going to be that. And I think the best way to finalize it is to get into situations such as this where one can just simply express or share what in fact they have experienced and leave it as that, and of course ask questions to further get details, to paint that image or that experience for themselves, just in case they haven't on their own, right? But again, it's still going to be each individual's perspective, perception, or even senses of how they can interpret it, if that makes sense. So, again, it goes back and forth to different analysis based on a person's own perspective due to their own awareness. And again, this is something that I think there's levels to, right? Like all of us on this panel, we're on our own awareness, and we all have our own levels of it. And does that say dictate or put a stamp on, again, like how we or you all were expressing, is what I'm saying true? Is it not true? Is it right? How can we see this? Or even as Naga was saying, um dinosaurs, words, interpretations over time, right? If we haven't been there to experience it, couldn't it be easily watered down or misinformed or misworded due to that person's perception? So yeah, I think the awareness of it for ourselves should be, sorry about that. But yeah, I think the awareness of it overall in general is again to your own perception. And I'll leave it with that.
All right, Dom, you got the floor, bro.
Sorry, KU, for what?
No,
Come
I
on
say
with the question.
I say you got the floor because I see you're expanding on some stuff. If you want, you can go ahead and tell the audience.
Well, if a person's ready to be the observer from within, opposed to just the experiencer. I heard you talk earlier about chess. Can you play anybody in chess in the world that know how to play chess if you're not worried about the outcome? The answer will be yes. But for most of us, they don't realize, nothing against sports or anything else. Those are about outcomes, either or. So again, this is where we hear the word cause and effect, but we're actually in the effect and set effect realm. We don't actually know where language comes from, but let's say you do know. Are you going to apply discernment, wisdom to that, let alone understand? What are you standing under? Hence the mind. But most people will call the brain the mind. No, that's the brain. But again, this is where people, if they want to do some research, again, of old ways of teachings, the first 7 years, the physical development, then the next 7 years, the emotional development, then the next seven, the mental development. The brain doesn't fully develop till 25. So each age plays a major role. And this is why when I was hearing you, KU, I was just sharing out loud. There's different alignments up in the sky. Not everybody, back in the ancient days, even today, there's people that understand alignments. Those energies up there are by far more stronger than what's called order here. Chaos, order out of chaos kind of ideal. We're living in the material realm. We're living in it. Hence the concept you're living in life. That's why we have the concept of afterlife. The concept of death came in after. Even in a tarot card, that came in after. Do you truly die? You would have to inquire inwards. That's why we have many words with the word I-N in it. Inquiry, intuitive, insightful. Those are all those things. But most people want to perceive information from a dumbed down version, which is called a scholarly, left to right or right to left hemisphere. Until people realize that, they don't realize how wide that indoctrination that we're in. But we're trying to figure out by being outside of the box when you don't realize how many parts are in the box. So I can only pose it as a question because a person has to go inwards to receive those inquiries, let alone actually figure, okay, what do I have to be pieced upon? Silence. Because the mind, in this case, the brain's always chattering. It doesn't know how to be in order. But anyway, I went on way too long, guys. I apologize.
Question, because you the question guy. So I got two questions for you. If we never really die, who were you in your previous life? That's one. Let's answer that right quick.
You're already under the perception there's an answer. You use critical deduction of what you're not. So you ask the question, if you don't die. The question is, what is death then at that point? This is a paradox box. You're going to ask a lot of questions, not to say you're going to have the answer. Hence why there's nothing new under the sun. They weren't talking about material. They were talking about thoughts. You're going to try to solve that every philosophy question, the whys or science, all the hows. That's the clever brain playing a game. They think they have answers. What, for one moment? And what language are you going to use? And what age are you going to use it? So you're talking about death. So when my parents are no longer here in that vessel, am I going to assume because they're no longer moving in that vessel that that's death? Then what? Life doesn't continue anymore? Life continues with or without us.
No,
It's called,
I ain't talking about these other vessels that we get into. I'm talking that vessel that you're in right now. So the other part of the question,
yes.
if you never die again, are you saying that you've been here, right, from the beginning of time? And if you were here from the beginning of time, then you should be able to tell us everything that we over here questioning about, right? Such thing like the pyramid, you should be able, you was there when they were built because you was alive at that point, right? You existed at that time or point. You should be able to tell us about that knowledge, right? If you never die, right? Or, right, did you really die from your previous vessel? Or you don't believe that, what I'm saying? You think that this is your first time you coming into existence. Your energy is the first time is coming into existence.
I think Rock was talking earlier about data, talking about things that are stored. This is why when people talk about soul, I get it's soul data. It's that's why we have soul contracts. You can't, that information doesn't leave, it stays here. So now you brought in words because these are your kind of questions. You brought in the word time. What is time to you? For me, time is not what we use as a clock or a watch, and those things up in the sky, those are signs. That has nothing to do with time. And time does not actually affect the aging of the vessel. So knowing those kind of things, if you've had those kind of inquiries, you'd realize when I say to you, to me, death is a construct. Now, for you to ask, wanted me to give you an answer where we came from, I can't give you that answer. And how would that serve you if I told you, for me, that I've come here many, many lifespans, and I come here to assist other beings? I don't really give a shit about the human aspect because it's gonna perish with or without us. Any of us that don't wish this upon us can go into a car and all of a sudden you're going to be popped out of that vessel. This is why when people say they see the light, what are they seeing? Are they seeing thoughts? Because the sun only gives out a certain amount of light. That's not light. Those are flashlights up in the sky. But
Yeah,
again,
I respect what you're saying, but you know damn well you answering my question with a question, which doesn't make sense. The plug
but hold
doesn't
on,
go.
Naga, stop for a
Hold on right
second.
quick.
What
The
you
plug
just said
doesn't
there,
go.
it
Hold
doesn't
on right
make any
quick.
sense. You heard
Hold on
that
right
came out of
quick. The plug doesn't go into a plug. It go into a port.
He kind of reminds me of Gary. I swear he does.
I'm sorry, I don't know who
He
Gary is.
do.
Sorry, knowledge, I don't know.
He definitely do.
But I'm hearing Naga talk about your story. You said the word, it doesn't make any senses. If I told you this is beyond the senses, could you actually freeze that a little bit and go
Yeah,
beyond the
but we're not
senses?
talking. We're not
But
beyond
you
the
did.
senses right
But
now.
you did. You did.
Are we
I'm
beyond the senses, or are we, or using our senses? Which one is it?
Come on, Dom, bro. We just building, bro. Don't get tight, man. I
Man,
want you to go
he
win.
can't.
I want you to talk your shit, bro. That's what
Why
I
would
want from
he?
you. To talk
He's
your shit,
asking
bro.
question. I'm just asking question.
Yeah, bro. Let your shit out, Dom.
Mhm.
Well, I got a question real quick because he said that death is a construct, right? But ain't
We
all
all
of it a
know death is
construct?
real. You know.
To a certain point, yes, Rock. I'm with you. Yes.
Like if death is a construct, the meaning of death it'll also apply to the meaning of life. That'll be a construct. Like basically from the time you're here to the time you're physically not here. That's the beginning of time and the end of time. But it still goes on because you pass that information. Like right now, us on the panel, people in the chat, right at this very moment, we passing information on right now. We're living right. We are proving that you never die right now. All you do is pass on information. You never really go nowhere because Raul, I'm gonna tell you something. I hear where you're going. I hear exactly what you're saying, and I agree with it. If we was always here, if we was always here, I'm not saying everybody agree with that, but I'm saying if we were always here, that means that we have already engulfed every aspect of everything that can be anything. We just manipulated it. Like when Raul said, instead of it being dinosaurs, it was this. Okay, we manipulated that. Like my man Don said, well, death is a construct. I agree with that 100%. Why do we even, where do we even get the perception of death from? Who told you die? Who told you that? You know what I'm saying? Like who told you that you die? Why they didn't take the time to explain to you how it really goes? Well, maybe they didn't know. Maybe that information wasn't passed on to them, but because of their conscious mind that refuses to take no for an answer, because of their conscious mind, and I believe, like Dom said, there is a difference between the brain and the mind. It's a difference between the two. That conscious mind that refuses to take no for an answer. That's why we can pass the information on through conscious minds right here, right now, with us on the panel and the people in the chat and everybody that's going to listen, going to keep passing. Hey, man, you know what? I heard somebody say they might not even know our names, but they'll hear that word and it'll ring. The word don't die. Might get lost in translation and then you go back to the truth and all that. But I'm gonna tell y'all something, man. I I'm glad I tuned in to your knowledge because tonight this is a good bill right here. I'm really enjoying the way it's going.
Rock, if I can share on that, this is part of the indoctrination. When somebody asks somebody, how old are they? They'll give me an age. If I tell them, I said, so are you the birth certificate? Well, yeah, I'm the birth certificate. I said, then you think you're the body. That's where the construct of death comes. Now, the question is, who's speaking? Who's running this vessel when I go to sleep or when I go somewhere else? Who's running it right now? That's the construct. It's like the concept of independence opposed to interdependent. Those are all constructs. That's called the illusion, the play. Words that we use, regardless if you want to call it spelling, it's all a play. Now, again, it's one of those things. If you think you're the body, then the next question would be then who's speaking? When a person says you're not the body, I said, okay, so now we can start a little bit more now. Are you the thoughts? Because you're experiencing thoughts. Mind is stored everywhere. Because if we actually truly are the mind, we should be able to speak right now. Sanskrit, Mandarin, Cantonese, Braille. I should be able to do all of those right now. No, I have to actually learn that craft. That's why it's called a craft. And in that, there's sounds and frequencies. So when somebody wants to know how far back you're going to go, I said, you're not even aware of the moments you have. In that moment, the word mint gives it away, no different government, entertainment, amusement. That's the English language, which is derivative of four other languages, if we're going to get into all the different frequencies that are combined together. So now when a person becomes aware of that, also then there's people that walk in. Sure they do. Why, you think Michael Jordan was the only one playing in that vessel? No, there's walk-ins. That's why when they talk about all these different crafts, oh yeah, when I get on stage, something takes over. Of course they understand that.
Yeah,
Now,
but you know, we're talking about the vessel. When we're talking about death, we ain't talking about the consciousness, though. Even though the vessel is energy, right? Everything is energy, right? So when we're talking about death, we're talking about the vessel. We're not talking about, the consciousness inside of that vessel. We're not talking about the mind, right? Again, we're talking
okay.
about the vessel.
Okay, so let's
So
go with that. Okay, let's go with it. This is why I ask questions, because I can expand on this. So now, is it aging or is it in time? Which one is it? Because the body's actually going through an aging process. It's like a plant. It's going through an aging process. But what is time then at that point? This is where it's afterlife. That's why we have the concept of life and afterlife. So where's death and all of that? That's the illusion. Breathe in, breathe out. There's your life. And what's in prana, air? Now that's a different thing. That's kind of like talking to Siri and say, okay, so are you the data? Are you the frequency? Are you the energy ball? No, I'm not.
Yeah,
Just
that's
like
where I
you.
was going with it though.
Well,
It's
wait a minute. Hey, Raul, let me ask you something real quick. Just real quick. Dom, tell me your definition of time. Do you how would you explain to us what time means?
Time usually affects the being, and that's in between what's called the three dimensions, and then there's space, and prior to that, it's called time. We're the essence to these vessels, but we're in a three-dimensional vessel: physical, emotional, and mental. Most people never develop all three of them, and I know for myself, that's why we have the weaning process and the physical part. So time is beyond life. But people like to use the word time, and then they use numbers to gauge a clock and a watch, which isn't time. The signs in the skies isn't time. Those are signs. But for
Okay.
most people, at least they can get to what it isn't. So you use
yeah,
critical
that's the
thinking to
thing.
do.
That's the thing. That's the thing. We can't. I can't really mention or say anything that isn't part of the whole thing. So I think the only illusion we have, right, or construct that we have is separation. Is think that things are separating from things that are not things, right? That are not things. But when I think everything, every piece is a part of the puzzle. So we can't define the puzzle by the pieces, right, of the puzzle. We can't define the chessboard by the pieces on the board, right? It's everything, that created, the chess game. So when we go around and try to define, the body by itself and try to define the consciousness, the mind, the breath, the feelings, the emotions, or when we try to define all these things by themselves, this is where the nonsense coming into place. This is where nothing makes sense. Just like we're trying to define a puzzle by that one piece is not going to make sense.
I'm with you, Naga, but you are using words, and I'm hearing you. Things. I'm saying we're the essence to things. This is where we talk about yin and yang, positive and negative, masculine and feminine. One's in the unknown, the other one's in the known. What's thing in the light? That's the known. What's in the unknown? The darkness. That's the essence of things. That's why you should be able to question things. But what's the essence to things now? That's a different thing altogether. And but even that's not even a thing. It just is at that point. But I get it where
So
you're coming
so
from.
when you say that, when you're talking about the essence of thing, because I know that me personally, the essence of go back to the senses. So we say you saying that we are. What I'm hearing is that I'm the senses, but I'm not me.
Senses are still things. Same with reason and feeling. Those are things.
So,
I'm
so
using I'm using the program right now to explain it to you. That's the self. That's the program. I'm using the vessel to explain this. So, and as I'm explaining to you, I can question my own reason. Again, a son kind of idea, or thinking, or feeling. For me, I'm not here to explain it for others. I can put it in a question form, so hopefully they get their own questioning. But if they didn't, I'm just there. It's no different. Somebody
Okay,
can
so
have a
what I want
dream, but they don't know how to interpret the dream. Somebody can assist them if that's their gift. Could even be a
salute
curse.
me, Sal, but the question go the just to double back because I understand what you were saying when R. Cook asked you what is time to you. You didn't really give us a definite answer. You more so just broke down time and aging. But what is time? What do you perceive time as? I mean, you could say it's a construct made by humans, but what is it to you? Like, if you were to describe or give me your definition of time, what will it be? And please, and not with a question, but I want to know your own sentiments of time because I see you see it differently than others.
It's beyond the three dimensions. So it's afterlife, and it's before space. Fourth dimension, time. For me, that's my perception. I could be way off, but those are my perception. No difference. Somebody will say a clock and the watch is time. To me, those are gauges.
So it is the thing for you.
What's that? Say that
So
again.
time is the thing for you. Is time is definitely represents
It's a
something.
perception. It's an ideal. I'm playing with ideals here, guys. No different. Somebody telling me that the sun and the moon are what? Are they time? When it clearly shows my vessel is aging. My vessel. I'm not saying I'm the vessel. My vessel's aging. I'm having thoughts.
So why couldn't I get a definitive answer when I asked you?
Because
You
you're
know,
looking
if
for
you give
question
me
and answer. I'm not here to give you answers. I'm giving you possibilities. I don't have answers. That would be arrogant on my part to think I have answers. And let alone for you.
yeah, I definitely think the question is the answer. You
It
know,
could be.
the reason, you know, is the question, you know, the question is the reason why, right? The reason why we asking question is the reason why we asking things is because of the question, right? It's because so you might not have answers, right? Speaking from your perspective, from what your point of view, that doesn't mean that no one have answers. Question comes with answers. So if there is such thing as a question, there is such thing as an answer. Just like when you talk about the known and the unknown, the chicken and the egg, right? The darkness and the light, right? You can't speak of one and not, you know, acknowledge the other.
I might come across like I have answers, but for me, they're all possibilities. It's like talking about globalists and flat Earth. It's all possibilities. If you truly have experienced it, you no longer have beliefs. You have knowledge. You might be able to have discernment and say, okay, so how does it serve me to know whether the Earth is this or that? And how would I explain to everybody else on the Earth? It would be a tough one. If
Well,
I
I see
was,
where the problem coming from. Because I speak in terms of that too, in terms of generality, right?
yeah, it is. It
But
is
in
a
terms
general
of
statement.
general, which is, you know, which is the same thing as you saying with probability, right? With every possibilities, right? I speak in that term also. But when I ask, when I get to, you know, when they ask me a direct question, I can't refer, you know, to I can't answer that a question in a general term. I, you know, when they ask me a direct question, I have to give a direct answer. So again, it go back with the chicken and the egg, with the dark and the light. So I understand, like I said, generality, you know, come with different perspectives. So if I'm asking for a specific perspective, I have to be able to go into that. You know, if every time I get asked, you know, direct something referred to something directly, and I'll go around in a broad term, you know, I'm not, you know, there is nothing being conveyed. It's like saying, okay, there is no need to ask me anything directly because you're not going to get an answer directly. All the answer you're going to get is indirectly.
Okay, so Nag, if I asked you, is the sun hot? What would be your response to that? I'm saying respond, but you can call it answers. What would your response be? Is the sun heat?
Yes.
Okay, have you ever jumped out of a plane?
Have I ever? No, I haven't.
Okay, so I have. It's cold up there. So now knowing that, how are we supposed to how are we supposed to spin around that unless you understand magnetic? Have you ever got shocked by a 347 to understand how heat generates from within inside of a strong magnet? So, but you're under the indoctrination that they tell you it's heat up there. But meanwhile,
Yeah,
it's
but that's
cold
the
enough.
thing though. You might jump out of a plane. That doesn't mean that you jump on a plane from directly under the sun. The sun take the heat or drag the heat with it wherever it go. So and you might jump out of a plane, you know, when the sun is not up, when the sun is set. You're not telling me that, you're not saying that, okay, I have jumped, you know, on a plane directly under the sun.
Okay, now I got knowing that. Have you ever seen lightning go from the top and from the bottom?
Have I ever seen what?
Lightning coming from the sky and also from underneath the earth.
I haven't seen it come from underneath the earth,
But
but
it
I've seen
does.
it come
But
from
it
the sky.
does. But it does.
And he absolutely right. Lightning does not strike from the top down. It actually strikes from the bottom up.
So how do we explain a tree gets struck by lightning, but the top of the tree burn, But
The current, because the current is already at the bottom of the tree.
Yeah,
So when the
it's
lightning
moving down
strikes from the
upwards.
top,
Yeah.
it's kind of like you know how they have lightning rods. It's because the earth is ground. It's already grounded.
Mhm. And where's the
So
polarities? Where? Yeah.
and where I completely understand what both of y'all are saying, but to what Dom is saying, I think the reason why he asked you that is because what are you actually perceiving? If you look at a lightning strike, like you just said, Raul, lightning struck a tree from the top down. Well, that's what you saw in that video. Because
no, I
unless you
see it
was
with my
actually
own eyes,
standing
not with a
outside,
video. Hold on, not with a video. Listen, in my culture, people swear to lightning and thunder, and this is so serious. They will have to. They have there is a ritual they have to do. They have to break that ritual, right? If they don't, they will literally get struck by lightning. Lightning. So
oh
it's not
wow.
something. That, yes, in my culture, I'm Haitian, bro. You know that. So
Yeah, yeah, I do.
it's not about seeing it from a video. I have literally seen a tree that got struck by lightning. The bottom of the tree is good, but the top is burned up.
Wait, hold on. That is what your eye sees. It doesn't mean that that's what happened. Your eye ain't going to be able to look into the ground and see that conductor. Your eye is just going to see the lightning. It looks like the lightning is coming down, but lightning is actually coming up from the earth going up. It's actually coming from it's it's actually coming from here up. You know,
Yes,
okay,
I'm not.
let me put it to you like this. Okay, you know how static electricity work, right? You know how you walk across um carpet and then you go to touch that doorknob and it shock you. Now, do you think that the electricity is coming from your body? I mean, not your body, but do you think the electricity is coming from your finger or is it coming from the doorknob?
It's actually coming from my brain.
That's my point. Your brain generates the electricity. It goes down to your feet. Your feet is grounded. So the electricity is coming from the bottom all the way up and coming out.
Oh, well, okay. Based on what I'm getting, is that it come from both, right? It has to be. There has to be. It's just like how a battery work, right? You gotta have that ground, that negative and that positive, right? But the question I was asked is, have I ever seen, right? And I had to be generous. I have to be honest. I haven't seen it come from the ground. So because right, I think that it might be coming from the or somewhere somehow it has to come from the ground. Don't mean that I have to say it because I haven't seen it. I was asking, have I seen? Right? Have I do I think the sun is hot? So these things that I'm being asking is direct. I can't, answer it in a general term. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't answer it the way that he perceived it. So he himself might perceive that it come from the ground, like he just said. But that's him. I won't disagree with him. But he had asked me, how I seen it, and then he said, no, it doesn't. Actually, it come from the ground, and then you agree with him. So this is where the clashes come into play. Because based on how you went into details, both of us is right that it do come from the ground and it do come from the sky, from up. So I seen it come from up, and down, just like how I see the top of the tree burn, not the bottom of the tree, right? But he like he said and like you expressed, seen it from a different perspective, with which I don't disagree with. I just haven't seen it yet. That's me being honest.
Yeah, and that's right. Because when you said that the heat comes from the sun, I believe that. You know why I believe that? Because down here in Atlanta, it's 70 some degrees down here. But guess what? In Minnesota, it ain't 70 degrees. It's freezing up there. Like in other parts of this land, it's hot down here, but it's freezing over there. To me, just to me, that proves that the sun is always the same, hot as hell, but it just depends on where that heat is coming through the atmosphere. Down south, it's always warmer down here. Why? Up north, it's always colder. But New York might be 70 degrees. Georgia might be 70 degrees. But when you go Midwest, it's freezing over there. It's the same land, though, and the same sun, right? It's the filters and how it goes through the atmosphere. That's just what I think. So Raul, when you said that the sun is hot, I believe that. I believe that the sun is always hot, but where that radiant or that heat, how it gets filtered down, that process, I don't understand it. Like I don't understand why it's always hot in Florida and Georgia.
Well, it's
Understand that.
based on the level of height and the position of the sun, right? That's how the heat come. You know what I'm saying? How low, right? The sun is to the earth, right? And how and the position and the position of the sun on the earth is where the heat going to be more you know concentrated at. That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see things. And on top of that, the sun carries the heat with it. You know what I'm saying? Based on the angle, right? And the height is going, right? So if the sun is going a little, is going up, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be less hot, right? On where on the angle on the position where it's angling at, right? It's going to be more, like I said, it's going to be less heat, right? But if it's closer, right, you know what I'm saying, then there's going to be more heat, right? And again, it depends on the position where the angle where the the ang on the angles and the position of the sun. That's where most concentrated heat going to be at. So that's my perception, right? So this is why I had to say I'm not disagreeing with him when he said he jumped out of a plane and it wasn't hot up there. Because in my head I'm thinking that of course it wouldn't be hot, if the sun was in a different position, right? And also on a different height, a level of height, right? So to me, I see how it all fit, but to him, obviously, it couldn't because he did that. Obviously, it's impossible for the sun to carry heat. I mean, to be, to be hot
So Mega, have you ever heard the term "as above, so below"?
for sure.
Okay, as above, so below, not the earth. Bypass the earth. The earth is just the middle part. If you understand that's a magnetic pull up there, there's a magnetic pull below you. And if you understand astrology, astrology has the sun always stationary. So now you understand what the earth can and cannot do, and let alone all the other planetary alignments. When I said I jumped out of a plane, parachuting, obviously, it was cold up there. Being an electrician, I also understand about magnetic and I understand about how frequencies and energy like 347 and 240 works. Now, I don't wish this upon anybody, but if you ever get a jolt from a 347, it's not a shock. You're generating heat. We're in the middle. So now people understand how to do, what do they call it? Cloud busting. You can make clouds come and go. Now, not big ones or whatever, but again, this goes back to the whole ideal. Once you have an answer, it's kind of like being in a cult. How do you explain somebody else to shake off that answer? You have
Nah,
to.
because you have a different perspective what as above so below mean, right? I don't think as above so below mean that okay there is below the earth. What I've never seen below the earth, and I know as far as I dig, right, it's always gonna be earth. Why haven't scientists proved what's under the earth? They can't even prove what's under the ocean, right? And because they have submarine, they have all type of things to dive under the water. They haven't even proved to tell me what's under the water. So therefore, I don't know what's under the earth for me to say that okay,
Hey
the
guys,
same thing that's
hey,
hold
don't
on
go
right quick.
nowhere. I'm about to refresh the stream. So if it said ended, we're still live. Just don't go nowhere, okay? Y'all guys keep on it.
Yeah, so I haven't seen under the earth for me to say okay, the same thing that I'm seeing above the earth is the same thing that's under the earth.